Fission bombs. The dawn of the nuclear age began with fission bombs. These weapons split heavy atoms like uranium-235 or plutonium-239, releasing a chain reaction of energy. The results were Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. Two cities erased in seconds, their names forever tied to fireballs and shadows burned into concrete. There are two main designs: the gun type, where conventional explosives slam uranium together, and the implosion type, where shaped charges compress plutonium into critical mass. The latter was used in Fat Man, dropped on Nagasaki. What made fission bombs terrifying was not just the blast, but the new reality they introduced. Suddenly, wars could end in a single strike. These weapons were crude compared to what came later, but they were enough to change geopolitics forever. Thermonuclear weapons. Fission opened the door, but thermonuclear weapons, hydrogen bombs, blew it wide open. These bombs use a fission explosion as a trigger to ignite fusion, the same process that powers the stars. The result is orders of magnitude more destructive. In 1952, the U.S. detonated the first thermonuclear device, vaporizing an entire Pacific island. Less than a decade later, the Soviets built the Tsar Bomba, 50 megatons of energy, a mushroom cloud reaching the edge of space. Unlike fission bombs, thermonuclear weapons can be scaled upward almost without limit. A single warhead can obliterate a metropolis or blanket regions with fallout. Two-stage designs, sometimes three, make them the ultimate strategic weapon. They were not just bombs, they were political signals, each test shaking the earth as superpowers raced to prove who could wield the fire of the sun itself. Boosted fission weapons. Between the raw atomic bombs and the massive hydrogen devices came a clever middle ground: boosted fission weapons. These look like ordinary fission bombs, but contain a small amount of fusion fuel, usually deuterium and tritium, inside the core. When the fission chain reaction begins, the heat ignites the fusion fuel, releasing a burst of extra neutrons. Those neutrons feed back into the fissile material, making the bomb far more efficient. The yield jumps, the design becomes smaller, and the warhead fits neatly into missile warheads or artillery shells. By the 1950s, boosted designs became standard, making nuclear stockpiles lighter and deadlier. Bro, you could say boosted fission was like adding turbo to an already dangerous engine. It wasn't about spectacle, it was about making nuclear weapons practical tools of modern warfare. Neutron bombs. Few weapons capture Cold War logic like the neutron bomb. Officially called an enhanced radiation weapon, it was designed to release intense neutron radiation while keeping the blast relatively small. The concept was simple but chilling. Imagine Soviet tank divisions rolling into Europe. A neutron bomb detonates overhead. The tanks remain intact, but the crews inside die within minutes from radiation exposure. Cities could theoretically survive with less structural damage, while human life was extinguished. In the 1970s and 80s, the US and NATO produced neutron warheads for missiles and artillery, though they were never used in combat. Critics called them capitalist weapons, bombs that killed people but spared buildings. Though controversial, their design revealed a brutal truth. Nuclear weapons weren't just about destruction. They could be tailored, engineered to target flesh, steel, or morale itself. Dirty bombs. Not truly nuclear, but feared nonetheless. A dirty bomb, or radiological dispersal device, combines conventional explosives with radioactive material. The explosion itself is small, but the contamination spreads across city blocks, making them hazardous for years. Unlike hydrogen bombs, or ICBMs, dirty bombs are low-tech and could be built by non-state actors. Radioactive medical or industrial waste becomes the payload. Bro, picture a truck bomb in a downtown square. But after the fireball fades, radiation lingers in the dust, water, and soil. They've never been used in war, but intelligence agencies have intercepted plots. Dirty bombs aren't weapons of mass destruction, they're weapons of mass disruption. Their power lies in fear, panic, and the costly cleanup that could cripple entire cities. Tactical nuclear weapons. These are the battlefield nukes. Tactical nuclear weapons. Unlike the giant warheads meant to level cities, tactical nukes are designed for immediate military use. Think nuclear artillery shells, short-range missiles, or even nuclear depth charges for submarines. Yields are smaller, from less than 1 kiloton to a few dozen. In the Cold War, both NATO and the Soviet Union stockpiled thousands, ready to halt invasions or wipe out tank divisions in seconds. The line between tactical and strategic is thin. A small nuke could still kill tens of thousands, but tacticals were built for flexibility, to be fired in desperation or to alter a battlefield instantly. Bro, imagine standing in a tank column in the 1980s Germany, knowing that a nuclear shell could detonate just miles ahead. That tension defined the Cold War. Strategic nuclear weapons? The heavyweights. Strategic nuclear weapons are designed not for battles, but for wars themselves. Carried by intercontinental ballistic missiles, submarine-launched missiles, and long-range bombers, they target cities, industrial hubs, and enemy missile silos. Their yields run from hundreds of kilotons to multi-megatons. A single warhead can erase a metropolis. Entire arsenals exist only to deter, ensuring that if one side strikes, the other can respond in kind. During the Cold War, this became the doctrine of mutually assured destruction. The U.S. kept missiles buried in silos across the Midwest, submarines prowling under oceans, and bombers circling on airborne alert. The Soviets mirrored it. Bro, strategic nukes weren't meant to be fired. Their silence was the loudest message. Strike us, and we'll end civilization. Salted bombs. The darkest concept of all? Salted bombs. These were theoretical designs meant to maximize fallout, spreading deadly radiation across continents. By surrounding a nuclear device with materials like cobalt, the blast would irradiate them, creating isotopes with long half-lives. The idea was floated in the 1950s, a doomsday weapon that wouldn't just kill cities, but poison the planet for generations. The Soviets hinted at experimenting with cobalt designs, though none were ever confirmed. Salted bombs were never practical, but they embodied the most extreme vision of nuclear war, not winning, not deterring, but ensuring total annihilation. Bro, imagine a bomb designed not to end a war, but to erase the future itself. That's the salted bomb, the ultimate nightmare of the nuclear imagination.